The Zodiac Killer, a mystery that still haunts America. In the late 1960s, the San Francisco Bay Area was terrorized by a killer who seemed to be always one step ahead of the police. His name was Zodiac, a mysterious figure whose identity remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in criminal history. For years, his crimes, cryptic letters, and taunting ciphers have captured the public's imagination. But just when it seemed like this enigma might never be solved, a new claim has emerged, one that could finally reveal the killer's identity. But can we trust it? Faycal Ziraoui, a French engineer, claims to have cracked two of the Zodiac Killer's most elusive ciphers, one of which he says reveals the killer's true identity. This claim has sparked both excitement and skepticism. Could Ziraoui's breakthrough really be the key to unlocking the case? Or is it just another false lead in a case filled with twists and turns? Let's dive deeper into the mystery and see what the evidence says. The Zodiac Killer first made his presence known in December of 1968 when he murdered a young couple in Benicia, California. Over the next 10 months, he would go on to kill at least 4 more victims across the Bay Area. His crimes were brutal, and his behavior seemed almost calculated in its cruelty. But what set Zodiac apart from other killers wasn't just his violence. It was the letters he sent to local newspapers, filled with cryptic ciphers, threats, and taunts. These letters quickly became his calling card, and they left law enforcement and the public alike wondering who this killer was and what he was trying to communicate. In 1969, the Zodiac sent his first cipher, the Z408, to the San Francisco Chronicle. The cipher contained 408 characters, and Zodiac famously taunted police, saying he would reveal his identity in one of these codes. But even after the cipher was deciphered, the message it revealed was far from revealing the killer's true name. Instead, it was a mix of disturbing boasts and the Zodiac's cryptic philosophy on murder. The first cipher was just the beginning, and over the years, Zodiac would send several more, including 2 that remained unsolved for decades, Z13 and Z32. Fast forward to today, and a French engineer named Faycal Ziraoui claims to have cracked both of these ciphers. He says that by using the same key that helped solve the infamous 340-character cipher, he was able to decipher Z13 and Z32 in just 2 weeks. The most shocking part, Ziraoui believes that one of the ciphers reveals the Zodiac Killer's identity. The name he came up with? Lawrence K. For many, this seems like a breakthrough. Lawrence K. had long been a suspect in the case. He was a career criminal who lived in South Lake Tahoe, a town near where some of the Zodiac's crimes were committed. K. died in 2010, but during his life, he had been linked to the case due to his background and his proximity to the murders. Ziraoui's deciphering of the Z32 cipher allegedly reveals a sentence with coordinates that point to a location near K's home, further fueling the theory that he could be the Zodiac. But not everyone is convinced. Many researchers and Zodiac enthusiasts have raised doubts about Ziraoui's methods. Critics argue that the Z13 cipher is too short to provide any definitive answers. It only contains 13 characters, which makes it incredibly easy to come up with multiple plausible solutions. In fact, some cryptographers claim that it's too easy to find names that fit the pattern, including ones that might match other Zodiac suspects. Others point out that Ziraoui's use of a specific decryption algorithm to solve both ciphers is questionable. The odds of him coming up with a solution that not only matches the pattern, but also points to a specific suspect are astronomically slim, they argue. Some Zodiac experts go even further, saying that the ciphers were never meant to be solved. The Zodiac Killer himself seemed to enjoy taunting law enforcement and the public, boasting that his ciphers would be too difficult for anyone to crack. Some even believe that the Zodiac's intention was to create a puzzle that could never be solved, ensuring that his mystery would live on forever. If that's the case, then any claim of having cracked the code, no matter how convincing, might be nothing more than wishful thinking or even deliberate misdirection. Another point of contention is the name K itself. Some argue that it's too convenient. Lawrence K. was a suspect with a known criminal background, and the name Kyer, which Ziraoui claims to have deciphered, is remarkably close to K's name. However, critics argue that this could be a simple coincidence. They point out that many other potential suspects, such as Arthur Lee Allen, also have names that could match the cipher. Furthermore, The idea that the Zodiac Killer would include his own name in his ciphers seems highly unlikely, given his apparent desire to remain anonymous. One of the most significant points of skepticism comes from the fact that Ziraoui has not been fully transparent about his decryption methods. He claims to have used the same algorithm that cracked the 340-character cipher, but the details of his process remain unclear. Without knowing exactly how Ziraoui arrived at his conclusions, it's hard to trust his claims. As one critic put it, if Ziraoui is starting with the conclusion that K is the Zodiac and then finding a cipher solution that fits that theory, then his findings are hardly objective. Even with all the doubts surrounding Ziraoui's solution, the case itself continues to captivate the public's imagination. Over the years, many theories have been proposed and many suspects have been suggested. Among them are Ross Sullivan, a library assistant with a mysterious background, and Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester who was widely regarded as a prime suspect for many years. However, Allen was never officially charged, and DNA evidence later ruled him out. What makes the Zodiac case so fascinating is not just the crimes themselves, but the endless mystery surrounding the killer's identity. The Zodiac Killer taunted authorities, mocked their inability to catch him, and even claimed that his true identity was hidden in his ciphers. In this sense, the Zodiac created his own myth, a myth that has only grown stronger over the decades. The question of whether we will ever know the truth remains uncertain. While some still hold out hope that new technology or fresh evidence will eventually reveal the Zodiac's identity, others believe that the case will never be solved. The ciphers, the letters, the public boasting, it all points to a killer who enjoyed the power of the unknown. As we continue to examine the case, we must ask ourselves, what does it mean for justice when a killer remains unidentified for so long? Can we ever truly know the truth about a case like this, or will the Zodiac Killer remain an enigma forever? The search for answers continues, but in the end, the victims of this unsolved mystery are the ones we must remember. What do you think about this case? Do you believe that the Zodiac Killer's identity has finally been uncovered? Or is this just another theory in a long line of unsolved mysteries? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so we can uncover more stories together. This content is compiled and analyzed